Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this live edition of Turnaround Marriage. We're so glad to be with you on this beautiful spring afternoon. Hope you all are doing well. And we are excited to talk about something that's really been clear in our hearts and minds as we've been talking, praying, and thinking recently. Something that's been so obvious to us in over 20 years of working with couples. And that really is what we're going to dive into today. But it's so obvious in many ways, but yet is so easily overlooked.
Yes, it is. We're going to get to that in just a second, but who are we? We are Scott and Rachel, and we help committed Christian couples finally end the cycles of conflict, negativity, and disconnection, and reclaim the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. And that's what we have the privilege of doing every single day. With our clients. And in this group, in Turnaround Marriage, we want to encourage your Christian marriage, and we want to give you tools and skills to help build your marriage, because we firmly believe if you're not growing, you're dying in your marriage.
Yeah, it's so true. Mm-hmm. It's so true. And really, that's the heart of it, guys. As we have been working with couples, one of the things is so very, very clear is that they have forgotten one simple thing: investing in their marriage. Now, we're going to unpack that today, investing, what we mean by that. We mean a lot of different things, but it's so clear because early on in your marriage, or even before you're married, when you first meet someone, you're investing all kinds of energy and how you look and getting to know each other and doing dates. And you're so passionate about that time that you spend together, and you're investing all kinds of energy, time. And it's so meaningful as you're getting to know each other. And then even after you move beyond the getting to know you stage and you look towards engagement, and you're thinking about your future, and you're planning, and you're doing your planning for your ceremony, and you're planning for your honeymoon, all that stuff you're getting ready for.
Yeah. Even many of you probably have invested in premarital counseling and spent the time and the energy to get, ready for marriage. And you've invested maybe money in your honeymoon and thinking about where you want to go afterward. And we put all this effort up until we get married. And then then all of a sudden we get married. And I remember when we got home from our honeymoon, it was like, we opened all of our presents. We were like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Then it was like, we looked at each other, we're like, what now? I got to live with you. Like, what, where's all this bliss and all, you know what I mean? It was like, it was just different. It was just because we spent so much time getting ready for the wedding. And then it was like, what about investing and getting ready for the marriage itself? Yeah. And so I think that's what we often forget to do, because once you get married and then those butterflies maybe start to fade a little bit, it's so easy for there to be that slow fade, like that song talks about. Yeah. It's like you slowly start to just kind of drift apart, and things maybe aren't as exciting as they were in the beginning.
Yeah, it's true. And, even when I think about the early investment of energy that we made, we did premarital counseling too. Mm-hmm. I think our hormones were raging so much that we didn't even hear anything that was said anyway. So I think there's fruit to be had there, but it's not the type of investment that really it pays off on the long haul oftentimes. But
it's good foundational. It can't be the only. It
cannot be the end all.
Yeah.
Yes. And so what happens with the slow fade is you get busy, you start getting into your careers, and you're busy with life, and then kids come along and they take up all kinds of energy. And you're focused on them, then changing their diapers and just trying to make it through the day. And then they start bringing you here and there to all kinds of school activities, and life gets busier and busier. And you're focused on the kids, you're focused on your careers, you're focused on friends, maybe even doing, connecting with outside friends together. And you're busy doing everything, but you forgot to invest in the most important person next to the Lord Jesus, obviously, is your spouse. Mm-hmm. And we see that time and time again. And essentially it's priorities getting out of whack.
Yeah, because if you're not investing emotional energy in your marriage, and if you're not investing time, if you're not investing effort, and if you're not investing money to literally grow your marriage, there's this thing where it's like, if you're not growing, you're probably dying. There's no coasting in marriage, because if you start coasting immediately inertia, it starts, you know what I mean? It's just, it starts to fade and you start to drift and there starts to be that separation. And I know for you ladies, this might be true because for several years, this was true for me and for us. I just started resenting my husband because I felt like he was just another chore, another kid to treat, another, it was just like another thing to do. Like I had this to-do list. I was just overwhelmed with being a wife and a mom and trying to work and trying to run a household. And I just felt like, he was just one more thing on my list. And I didn't really invest in our relationship. I just felt like he was just more of another chore. Like another person that needed me. And I was just like rolling my eyes, like, why do you need me? Like, why can't you just be a big boy and take care of yourself? But it's like, and I neglected to invest in my husband, to build him up, to nurture him, and to invest the emotional and the physical and the time energy that it takes to have a flourishing marriage.
It's true. And so what do people do when they realize that they're a few years in and that there's this disconnect that's growing, and they realize, wow, they've kind of neglected each other. They've been so busy doing other things. Oftentimes they'll actually double down on focusing on the kids because they know that that's what they can control. Mm-hmm. It's like, I got to do that. So I might as well be doing that. And going back to Genesis 3, God told us to be fruitful and multiply. And the fruit of the marriage, the fruit of the vine is the children. And it's like tending to the fruit instead of the vine, the most important relationship. We can go on and on about that. But what do people do most times? I would say that they would look to little things that they can add to try to maybe fix things. They'll try simple things like we'll get a book, or we'll go to a Sunday school class, or we'll go to a retreat, or we'll try a couple counseling sessions. They'll try a number of little things. And it's kind of like saying, here, I'm going to take this vitamin because I don't feel good. As you can hear, I don't sound so good. I've been fighting the voice thing for a number of days. A little vitamin here and there is not going to instantly make things better. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. Right. And so what is really needed is to make those adjustments every day, those investments every day to really make the difference. And that's where we got stuck to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. We were, we had grown, when life happens and there's just disappointments and big trials that come. And if you're not in a good place when those things happen, often that can be like the axe that sort of drives you apart. And that's what happened for us. And we just found ourselves completely at odds with each other. Just so the frustrations had been building up because we hadn't learned how to communicate what we needed and wanted from each other. Those resentments and frustrations had been building. And I was in attack mode and he was in withdrawal mode. And it was just a recipe for a disaster. So we thought, okay, well, yeah, let's get a little counseling. And so we signed up for counseling, and boy, they pointed out everything we were doing wrong. And it was like, oh, this is a drag. Who wants to go, hear this? Right. We heard a little bit of helpful things, but it was like when we got home, we had such a hard time putting into practice because we had all this mind trash about, well, he should be doing this if I'm going to do that. Like, that's not fair. And the counseling thing didn't really work for us. And then we thought, well, let's do one of those weekend aways, one of these marriage weekends. And we did that. And it was, it was kind of, it was helpful. But it wasn't everything that we needed because again, we got home. It was like a great weekend. And then we got home and it was like, well, how come you're not doing what he said? Remember, you remember the lesson we did. And so again, it was just more and more of the same frustration. Same thing with books. I mean, there's so many good books in marriage.
There are tons.
Yeah. But
it's not like there's not enough resources out there. There's plenty of resources.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so it's not about just getting more information, but it's really about getting to the heart of transformation. Like what in your heart is holding you back from really investing and giving yourself fully to your spouse? Maybe you're finding yourself in the place where you're wondering, is this marriage even going to last? Why bother? Like we've just been through all this and it's like, I don't see this getting better. And so you just want to kind of throw your hands up in the air and just give up. And we're just here to tell you, like, don't give up. Don't give up too soon. You know what I mean? The right help could be right around the corner.
Absolutely.
It could be right here in front of you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, because for us, we were really stuck, and we tried a little bit here and there, and for us, it really wasn't enough to get the transformation.
It took an investment, and for us to be transparent, it was in the way that we related to each other, but it took an investment in really getting on the same page about our finances too. It really took both of those key things
Yeah.
for us to really get that breakthrough. But what I would say is, for many of you out there, I just really want to lay this out there for you, the clear path ahead. For many of you that are listening today, all you can need to take away from this is you need to invest in your marriage. You need to invest in each other. It is the most important ministry you have on earth. This is the most important relationship that you have on earth, outside of course, with the Lord Jesus, is with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to invest there first. You have to. It's as simple as that. So for many of you, hear this admonition that you need to prioritize your marriage above all else. Investing in your marriage in every way, with your time, with your energy, with your date nights. We encourage couples even to have like a dream team meeting every week where they're working through the business part of life, and have those every week. But more than that, like vacations even, and special time, and just even putting the kids to bed and having some time in the evening, just the two of you.
Yeah.
And any way that you can invest is so important.
I was just going to add, like, invest in communication.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's so easy to just, if you just don't know how to communicate, so then you just don't. And then you just sweep things under the rug and think, well, they'll just get better, with time or whatever. But that never works. That never works.
And is it fun communicating with a seal? I kind of sound like one. Yeah. But there's others out there that might be hearing this today, and maybe your head's spinning a little bit and you're thinking, okay, this makes sense, but how do we fix this? Maybe you realize that there's a lot of deep ruts, and maybe there's a lot of deep hurts, and it's not as simple as just investing your energy and your time. It might mean for you that you need outside help, that you might need an outside investment in your marriage, someone that can jump into the situation and really help to get things changed, radically changed. And that's certainly what it took for us years ago. And I know that that's for a lot of people out there too.
Yeah, one of our the couples we're working very closely with and very powerfully with, they've been married for 45 years, y'all. And what's so encouraging to us is that they decided, you know what, for 45 years we have just struggled and just not
45.
like pretty much most of their marriage. And they thought, well, is it too late? And they decided, no, it's not too late. It's not too late for us to just dump out what's not been working and really go all in and invest. And what's so cool is that the wife, she said to us, it's so amazing that after just a few weeks, all of the prayers for my marriage are being answered as we speak. It's like she's learning. They're learning how to operate and see each other differently, how to speak to each other differently, how to show up and spend those first very waking moments differently in the morning. And so it's making all the difference in their marriage. And that's so encouraging because it doesn't matter whether you've been married a year, 5 years, 20, 30 years, 45 years or whatever. If you're ready and willing to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to invest in my marriage and fix it, make it right, make it the God-honoring marriage I know that it can be, the one that I signed up for all those years ago when I said I do. I'm telling you, it's not too late.
Absolutely. And she gave us permission to share that too. Karen's an amazing person. And I just love the turnaround that they're getting in their marriage. And that is our heart's desire. Like for us, our clients that come through our program and they get an incredible outcome. They've invested in their marriage. They get an incredible outcome, and they come out of it thinking, that would have been worth 100 times more because of the incredible way that they are reconnected with the love of their life. They have their best friend back. They have their sex life back. They can walk into the boardroom feeling much more confident than before. In other words, you change the marriage and the way that you have each other's back again, and everything begins to blossom. It's like putting on a whole nother set of glasses, the way that you see the world. And that's why it's so incredibly fun. So that's exactly what we do, Rach, is we do like a system flush. For those that are the right fit for us, and not everybody is, but for those that are the right fit, we help to just really dump out all that's not been working. And get someone right in the middle of the situation with you that's not visiting you every few months or every few weeks or just a book that's sent to you, but really getting into the middle of it to really help to make things really different, to focus on what's not working right, to put our eyes ahead on a strategy that works to get things fixed. That's where everything can change. Now, understand, this isn't for everybody. This is only for those that show up and they said, we're committed. We're committed to this not being the same. And it's also for those that are coachable, those that are saying, the way we've been doing it's not been working. Show us a path, especially based on God's word, that's going to be a path forward for us. And that's the type of people that we need. That's the type of people we know we can help.
Yeah.
And so
I was just going to add, I was just going to add, if you're out there going, well, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of a 6 out of 10 committed in my marriage. I don't really trust him anymore. I don't know that we can help you, because if you're not 100% committed to your marriage, then it's probably not going to work, because you'll find an excuse for every single thing that we're coaching you on. And so, but it's like when you draw the line in the sand and you make the decision to say, I'm not going to go one more day staying stuck. That's when we really can't help you. I don't know if you want to share that story about after we kind of got our marriage fixed. It was like, okay, you were able to kind of stand up to someone high up.
At your workplace? Actually, yeah, I was working in a kind of a corporate setting for a short season, and I was getting paid extremely low for the performance and for the level of expertise that I had. And I actually wound up talking to the vice president about how bad it was getting paid. He comes in all dominant in the room and stuff, and I just showed up the same way. I would never have been able to do that when we were butting heads, when we were fighting, when we were not getting along. And I didn't believe that you believed in me anymore. How could I have done that? But with that confidence, it was like I just walked right in there. I'm like, listen, this is what I'm doing. This is the outcome. This is the results, and this is what I'm getting paid. And this is ridiculous. Well, in God's providence, it really pushed us ahead into launching Turnaround Marriage. No doubt about that. God's providence in that. But I just celebrate. You're right, Rach. Just the opportunity to be able to just stand up, knowing my woman's got my back. I mean, what's that worth? And it took that investment in each other to really get that kind of outcome. And it was amazing.
Yeah, because that's paying you back over and over and over again in the years to come. And for me too, because I was the same way, not getting paid what you're worth and not feeling confident when you show up at work because things are just so backwards and crazy at home. Like when you can fix this, like every area of your life, your friendships can blossom, your relationship with God can blossom, your health can blossom again, because there's all this stuff that's now getting fixed. I want to say one more thing really quick. We talk about, in our investment, and it's like, if you're running a business and you don't invest in your business, you don't invest time and energy and developing your skills, your business is not going to thrive, right? We know that it'll tank eventually. If you talk about your health and you think, well, let's just kind of coast, you're either building your immune system or you're tearing it down. Like there's no coasting in your health. Like you're either eating foods that are giving you health. I took
a vitamin with my Diet Coke.
I mean, it's not like about being perfect, but it's like you're anything going in your body is either helping you or hindering you. There's no kind of neutral coasting. It's like, you know what I mean? And the same is true if you're in your finances, you're either investing and paying off debt and making progress. If you're just coasting, you're probably going backwards. And it's the same thing in your marriage. If you're just going to try to coast and just kind of get along until the kids are out, it's not going to work. You'll eventually just drift right apart until there's infidelity or just a breach of trust or whatever.
It's not going to get better.
So we're here to tell you that if you are one of those people who are 100% coachable and committed and ready to say, I'm sick of doing this. I'm ready to invest the time and energy and resources into my marriage that it deserves because I want the outcome for my whole life. Then we want to encourage you to go ahead and book a call.
And think about that ahead of time. What would that be worth? I mean, what would we pay to get what we have now?
Yeah.
I mean, in every way, it's priceless. It really is. And getting back the way God designed marriage to be a gift. So guys, if you're out there and you're thinking, boy, I'd love to be able to talk to Scott more about this, I want to encourage you to go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call. And what you do is just pick a time. And this is a free breakthrough call. And what we'll do on that call is pick a time, fill out that short questionnaire. We'll get on the phone and we'll talk for a few minutes and find out what's not working in your marriage right now. Talk about a path to forward of what you guys hope and dream that this thing could be, should be, what God designed it to be for you. And if I can help you guys to get from where you're stuck to where that is, that where you hope it can be, I'm absolutely going to make that path clear. But understand, like Rachel said, we're not a fit for everybody. If we are a good fit, we'd make that very clear. But if not, we're going to point you in the right direction. We're going to love you, serve you, and give you and point in the direction of how you can get your marriage fixed. And so that call is completely free, there to serve you, and really could be the best 45 minutes you've ever invested in your marriage. Keyword, investing in your marriage. So I'd love for you to check that out. And anything else you want to add, Rach?
No, just that I adore you, honey. I really
love
do.
You too.
Yeah, and my husband has a heart of gold, you guys, and so and the skill that God has given him and helping to really use his surgeon's knife and kind of just dissect and figure out what's gone wrong in the marriage. It's very, very incredible. And so I want to encourage you to use this resource that's right in front of you and book that call with Scott and let him help you figure out what's the very next step you can take to getting back the marriage that God has for you.
Yes. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.